Okay, I'm going to make a little video teaching how to compose functions. So it's when you take one function and put it inside of another function, it creates this composition of functions. All right, let's check it out. Okay, the way we read it is like this says f circle, this little thing, that's a circle. So we say f circle g of x is the same thing as f of g of x. So usually when I have a little circle like that, I usually change it to this right here. So f of g of x is the way that I like to write it. So f of g of x, again, is how you say it. Let's see about these directions, because we're going to mainly just be able to learn by doing here. Okay, so let's just look at some examples. It's a little easier. All right, so these are the 4 examples that I'm going to utilize for, or these are all the 4 functions that I'm going to utilize for all the examples. All right, so this says f of g of x right here, and all you have to do is you can replace the g of x. Just go ahead and figure out where that is. So there it is, right there, 2x minus 8. So that means you can substitute that g of x, it equals 2x minus 8. So that means we can say, what is f of 2x minus 8? So see how we just replaced the g of x with 2x minus 8? And now we want to figure out what f of 2x minus 8 is. Well, all we have to do is wherever there's an x, we're going to replace it with 2x minus 8. So let's go ahead and replace the x with 2x minus 8. So 2x minus 8. And that's what we put in for the x, and then we still have the plus 4. So this would be 2x, and then it would be minus 4. That would be your final answer. So really all it turns out to be, another way of looking at it, is it takes the g of x function and it plugs it in to the f of x function wherever there's an x. All right, next one. This one says g circle f of x, so I usually take the time to rewrite it. So I'll say g of f of x. I like that a little bit better. So just whatever is to the right of the circle just goes on the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to replace the f of x. Whoops. I'll wait a sec. You can tell I'm at school here. Okay, so I'm going to replace the f of x. So f of x is x plus 4, so I'm going to write g of x plus 4, and now I'm going to take the x plus 4 and I'm going to plug it in. This says g of x plus 4, so that means wherever there's an x, we're just going to put x plus 4. So it looks like this. It's going to be equal to, let's put x plus 4 right there. So it's going to be 2 parentheses x plus 4 minus 8. See how just wherever there's an x, we put in the function. Okay, so then we just distribute. So that's going to be 2x plus 8 and then minus 8. So our final answer would be 2x because we can cancel the 8 minus 8. All right, next ones. All right, this says h of f of x. So we're just going to take the f of x function and we're going to put it right in there inside. So let's replace the f of x with x plus 4, which is what that is. So we're looking now for h of x plus 4. So then you look at the h function, which is this one right here, and wherever there's an x, you put in x plus 4. So that would be equal to x plus 4. You're supposed to square it, so we square that, minus 2. Multiply this out, so you can write it out side by side. Okay, And then however you want to do that, steps wise, but it would be x squared, and then you do the outside, which would be 4x, then the inside, which would be 4x, and then the last, which would be plus 16, and then minus 2. So then your best answer, x squared plus 8x, and then that would be plus 14. All right, let's look at this next one. Okay, so it has that circle thing again. So right to the right of the circle thing, I would put that function on the inside. So this would be the same thing as f of h of x. So h of x is the one that goes on the inside, so that would be f. Let's replace, just substitute that. So h of x is equal to x squared minus 2. So now what we're looking for is what's f of x squared minus 2. So we go up to the f function, and wherever there's an x, we're going to put this. So we're going to put x squared minus 2. That's where the x, that goes in for the x. And then we got the plus 4 still. So then this is going to be x squared and then plus 2. All right, so j of g of x is next. So g of x is the one that's on the inside. So we're going to replace that g of x with what it is. So it's 2x minus 8. And then we're going to take that and we're going to plug it in to the j function wherever there are x's. So this one has a couple different x's, so it's going to be equal to, it'll be a negative sign, and then we got 2x minus 8. We're going to have to square that, and then we got plus 6, and then we're going to put the 2x minus 8 right there where the other x is. All right, so let's multiply this out. So we got a minus sign, we'll keep that handy. We're going to write this out twice. And then I'll probably distribute this. So that'll be 12x minus 48. All right, so we're going to minus, and then I'm going to FOIL this out. So this will be minus, it'll be 4x squared. And then I'm probably going to do the outside and the inside in the same step. So the outside would be minus 16x. The inside would also be minus 16x. So that would be minus 32x. Then the last times the last would be negative 8 times negative 8, which is plus 64. And then we still have the plus 12x and minus 48. And so we're going to need to distribute the negative sign. So that would be minus 4x squared plus 32x minus 64 plus 12x minus 48. All right, so now let's combine our like terms if we have anything. So we got minus 4x squared. We got plus 44x, and then these constants, so that would be negative 112. That's the best answer there. All right, g circle h of x. So that's the same thing as g of h of x. So that means h of x is the one that goes on the inside. So we're going to say g, just replace the h of x with x squared minus 2. Then let's go ahead and take the x squared minus 2 and we'll just plug it in wherever there's an x. So that should be easy enough. We'll have 2 and then parentheses, and then that'll be x squared minus 2, and then it's minus 8 because that's part of the function. All right, so see how we have replaced that? All right, so now we're going to distribute. So we're going to do, we got 2x squared minus 4, and then minus 8. So final answer, 2x squared minus 12. Oops, a little messy there. All right, this one we got, looks like we want to find j of 4 first. So let's figure out what that one is first. So j of 4, we just plug a 4 in. So we got negative, and then we got 4 squared plus 6 times 4. So remember how this works. We're going to have, this is actually negative 16. So make sure you do the 4 squared and then attach the negative. And then plus 24. So that's going to give us 8. So that means j of 4 equals 8. All right, so that means we can replace the whole inside with just an 8. So f of 8. Now we can just plug an 8 in right there. So f of 8 equals, and you just put an 8 right there where there's an x. So 8 plus 4, so that's 12. All right, and then this one, j of negative 2. Okay, so let's see. So let's figure out what j of negative 2 is first. So j of negative 2 equals negative 2 squared plus 6 times negative 2. Okay, so what happens here is that this would be negative 2 squared, which would be 4, but there is that negative sign on the outside. Then this would be minus 12, so this is negative 16. So this is just j of negative 2, that part, the part that is going to be on the inside, that's going to be negative 16. So what we're looking for is what is g of negative 16? So that means we're going to look at the g function, wherever that is, there it is, and we're going to plug in a negative 16. So g of negative 16 equals 2 times negative 16 minus 8. So that's negative 32 minus 8, which is negative 40. All right, and last couple, j of 5. So j of 5. Okay, so let's plug a 5 in there. So let's see what j of 5 is. So j of 5 equals negative 5 squared plus 6 times 5. So that's going to be equal to, now this is 25, but then there's a negative sign on the outside. So that's negative 25 plus 30. So that equals 5. So j of 5 is just 5. So that means we can replace it. So now we're looking for what's j of 5. Well, we already figured out what j of 5 is. J of 5 is 5. So then we can say the answer is 5. That's kind of an interesting one. All right, and then our last one, let me think if there's something else I could make up a problem. I might need to make one up. Let me make up a different one than this one because it's not really any different. Okay, number 10. Let me make up like a f of g of 1 plus 2. Let me do something like that. Okay? So let's say you have something like that. What you would do first is you would figure out what's g of 1. All right, so let's see. Where's g of 1? Okay, it's up there. So let's figure out what g of 1 is. So g of 1 is 2 times 1 minus 8. So that would be negative 6. Okay, so then what I would do is I'd come down here and I would replace this with a negative 6, and then I would have the plus 2 like that. All right, then I would do this math here, negative 6 plus 2, so that means that would be f of negative 4. So now what I'm looking for is what's f of negative 4. So you're always working from the inside out. So f of negative 4, now we just plug in a negative 4 right there. So that would be negative 4 plus 4, and that would equal 0. So, that's a good problem. I think that might be it. So just do your best.